Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode, the pilot episode, the episode that's going to probably have the most flaws in Episode 1 of Sit and Drink, because I had to change the name because Let's Have a Drink was taken because I didn't realize there's an apostrophe in Let's.
Ah, yes, grammar's important.
Yeah, not to me, but in this circumstance, it was. So today, we're going to be drinking Alberta Premium. I'm not sure you can see that. I'll edit it so you can. But I'm here with Lynn Reid. How you doing?
What's up? Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Let's pour this. I probably should have poured this before we started.
Maybe.
However, yeah, you can throw that there. That's fine. In terms of what we're doing today, I think you'll be fine for a pilot episode.
Yeah.
1 second. Is it freaking recording? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I think so. Does it say recording bottom left corner red?
I can't see that.
It's so freaking tiny.
There is a...
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
okay,
is.
we're good.
We're good. We're
good.
fine.
It's fine.
Okay. So let's cheers, have a drink, and settle down a little bit.
That is good whiskey.
Yeah, 63.5%, because you really need that 0.5 in there.
Gotta have that 0.5.
And it's a cast strength, so it's really gonna make this studio even hotter than it currently is right now.
Lovely. It do be
hot.
do be warm.
It do be warm in here. But yeah, me and Lynn met when we met.
Oh God, here we go.
Just to give the audience, if there is anybody watching,
A truly stellar first meeting.
some context. Basically, Lynn here is my girlfriend's best friend, and when I was first trying to get my girlfriend,
Woo her,
as you will, she invited us out to this bar, and Lynn was here, and I just kind of gone through a breakup, and finally was getting some confidence back, got some new clothes for Christmas.
Yep.
Was feeling pretty good about myself walking in this bar.
I was 3 sheets to the wind in my defense. Not a great defense, but I am an idiot.
It's fine. It's honestly pretty freaking funny
it's
now.
Funny now. Oh, it's hilarious now. I felt terrible for weeks.
I walk into the bar, and Lynn, who's completely shit-faced at this point, thinks she's whispering, and she goes, "Oh, you can do so much better than..."
He's like a Leamington 10.
Fuck. That's brutal.
Which it's a little brutal.
Leamington 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like what? A real world like 4?
No. A 5 or a 6
5
in
or
Windsor.
6. Okay, that's
Still not great.
still not great. I'd give myself at least like a 7.5.
Oh, yeah. I was trying to be supportive of it. Like,
yeah.
Because she was pissed.
Oh, yeah. She was so mad
She
I
was
asked her
so
out.
Mad.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know why are you so mad?
Well, when you have a string of male friends going after you all the time, it gets a little upsetting after a while.
This is fair. All men are scum.
Your timing was terrible.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all it was.
It was poor timing,
Yeah.
and
We love you now. It's
yeah,
fine.
it all worked out.
Yeah,
You know,
no.
I'm no longer Leamington cute. I grew out my hair, and I don't think you can really see it on camera, but it's kind of like a mullety now. So
Yes, it was a drastic improvement. I
Yeah.
will give you that.
the hair definitely needed to be improved for sure.
Oh yeah.
So Lynn, tell me a little, like, the whole point of the show is to try to tell stories that typically you wouldn't really hear, that would never traditionally be told through any other sort of media. So the idea basically is we have a drink because people aren't super comfortable in front of the camera typically.
Fair.
And then you tell us a bunch of stories that you think are really important to tell. We can go back and forth and really like try to change the dynamic. This is really super experimental right now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
for sure. I've got a couple on deck for you if you like. I
Sweet.
mean, I don't know if you've heard. I know you've heard a few of the farm stories.
oh yeah,
Did you have something in mind that you wanted me to start with? Like,
not like particularly. Like, give us like almost like a an example of like what like a traditional like farm story, like the shenanigans.
you want to
like
know why I am the way that I am?
yeah, like why are you so fucked up, Lynn? Like what happened?
Well, some of these I wasn't present for, but they definitely are had a hand in making me who I am. So I don't know if you know, my grandfather passed away in 2006. So I was like 8 years old.
Right.
But he owned a good half the land that we work now anyway.
Okay.
And when he passed away, they divvied up the ground between my grandma and my dad and his 3 brothers. So he was always, he always took care of shit. He was the main hog farm was at his place.
He was the man.
Yeah, he was. So years ago, we started out growing tomatoes for Heinz's back in the day.
Yep.
And I don't know if you've ever seen the Three Stooges, but I remember my dad, and I only ever seen them do it once. But when it's 90 degrees out in July and you're picking tomatoes, you go a little loopy, which is the basis for a lot of these stories.
Which is fair. Are you like typically are you drinking one picking? I know it's not a good idea because of the sun.
Water,
just water
only. And I remember my dad telling me once that when they dug the basement, they put a big addition on my grandmother's house. This was probably in the 80s or 90s. But I remember they were digging the basement themselves by hand. My dad would have been early 20s at this time, I think, or a teenager. So he was going back and forth with a wheelbarrow, dragging out dirt, gravel, whatever the hell it was.
Right.
So I remember him telling me it was the hottest summer on record for a long time. And they drank, between the 3 of them, my grandfather, my 2 uncles, and so between the 4 of them, they probably drank 5 or 6 gallons of water that day.
Jesus.
Not a single one of them took a pee break. The entire
so they
day.
just
That's
sweated,
how much they were sweating.
They just sweated all that shit out.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how it was during, when we're taking off wheat in the middle of July. Like, it is hot as balls. My dad never uses air conditioning in cars. You roll the windows down and you drive faster. That is just Kendall. And I remember 2 years ago, I was bringing him his supper because they don't usually stop. We pack a lunch and run it out to whatever field that they're in.
Okay.
I ran his dinner out one night, and he stopped the tractor and got in my truck and looked at me and he says, "You need to crank the AC right now before I pass out."
And that's when you're like,
I'm like,
fuck.
Oh shit, it's okay.
it's a little fucking hot in here.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever like? Because because my grandfather also was a tomato farmer for Heinz, so he had tomato pickers come in from Quebec.
We never brought people in. It was always my dad, his 2 brothers, my grandma, and then a bunch of the neighbors would always help us pick.
Okay.
But this was, like I say, this was long before my time. We got out of tomatoes, shortly after my parents got married in '96. So,
yeah. Well, I'm sure with all the greenhouses and everything like that, it's kind of hard to keep up with the. You gotta go.
Yeah.
Gotta go money crop or what is it called?
Cash crop.
Cash crop.
Yeah. So a lot of Heinz downsized a lot too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
a lot of local guys just got out of the business just because it was easier. My grandfather drove truck for them, so that was why we grew tomatoes. You haul your own crop in.
Yeah.
But you want to talk about greenhouses?
Sure. We can talk about anything. That's the best part about this.
Yeah. No, so over the years, I think we're up to about 250 acres that we've lost to greenhouse.
Jesus.
Buying ground now. Which, it's great. They employ a ton of people, which is great for the economy and everything, but I haven't seen the stars in so long. The glow, you can see it from here.
Yeah,
like,
it's not only like you can see it from here. For people who aren't obviously from Windsor or the Leamington area, Leamington currently has like the largest square footage of greenhouses in all of North America. Correct me if I'm wrong. But
I think that's right. Yeah, that's why they call us a sun parlor. It's Canada's tropics.
and now that weed's legalized, weed has become a huge grower.
Oh yeah,
in
I bet you
Leamington, too.
a third of the greenhouses in Leamington have pot in them.
So you see, like you'll see, and like we're from downtown Windsor, so to give you some perspective, especially if you're like an American viewer, we are literally. I could walk to Detroit. It would probably take me about 30 minutes to walk to Detroit if I was to walk across the border.
Yeah.
And Leamington's about a 45 minutes
from here.
Drive, and you can see it. Like it is like a blot of light in the sky. You'd figure people are calling Batman almost.
Oh
like,
yeah, it looks like a sunrise. Except it's south of here.
It's a little tough.
Yeah, it's awful. It's actually funny. When in the winter, it's the worst. When there's a lot of cloud cover and there's snow on the ground in the wintertime, our dusk to dawn lights just won't turn on. They have little sensors on the tops of them that when it gets dark, they come on.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just will not turn on, and
they
it's
still
even
think it's
worse.
bright.
Yeah, it's even worse south of me. The closer you get to them, from my backyard, I can pick out each greenhouse and name them just by where the glow is and what color the lights are.
That's crazy. Like because weed takes a certain light and tomatoes will take a certain light.
Yeah, it depends on the season and everything. Normally, for the most part, they're all white or yellow lights. Right. But the purple ones you see is weed. That's
definitely
their grow lights.
The devil cilantro right there
yeah.
for sure. that's the Canadian supply that doesn't come out of BC, which you know. Is okay.
Yeah,
it's okay stuff.
It's good.
They're getting better over there.
They are. Yeah. Actually, do you know Double Diamond out on the Alberta Town line there? Gene Simmons has a pretty big stake in that company.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he was out there. My mom's friend met him a couple summers ago. He was out checking out the property.
Just making sure everything's running right.
Pretty well.
Smoke a little.
Yeah. It's all medicinal. He's really big into that stuff, I guess.
Well, it's good. It's like obviously with anything, you're like you got to make sure you're only taking a certain amount.
Oh yeah,
and,
everything
like,
in moderation. But it's helping a lot of people.
Absolutely, especially like the medical stuff and like the pain killing stuff. For sure. Like
yeah.
it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, we're gonna get a little bit off topic if we keep going.
We will.
But it's a little ridiculous how long it's taken for us to really explore, and we still haven't figured out all of like the medicinal properties
of just weed. I mean, crepe. There's so many other things that we could be so much further.
Oh, even like psilocybin, like the amount of shit like they're finding it can reconnect brain stems, like shit that's never even like possible before.
They're using it to cure PTSD. Like how whack is that?
Yeah, like it's honestly incredible. Like
it is.
And like
yeah.
to me, like if you pair psilocybin with like a therapist. And like you run it through like that, like I feel like you could get so much farther in therapy.
Oh yeah, there is a place. I feel like it's in California that's doing it for cancer patients.
Okay.
To help them kind of accept like
you're probably gonna die.
Cancer patients. Yeah. It's to help them come to terms with it, and I guess it's really working.
Yeah, like it's a great tool, and like
we know so little about our brains.
Yeah, and the fact that like. Instead of just researching it, it's just been outlawed completely.
Yeah.
I mean, at least in Canada, we're finally getting a little bit closer.
We're getting there, yeah.
But it's a great step.
It is for sure, yeah. Because imagine the possibilities.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, imagine like those greenhouses start growing shrooms, right? Like seriously.
Yeah,
like,
really. Like I feel like we're probably only a few years off of that.
Oh,
really.
for sure.
I mean, if all of this stuff that they're finding out about it proves to be true, like.
Suddenly you're taking like a microdose of mushrooms and a pill cap, almost like like if you for depression or for anything, like you don't know, like the possibilities are nearly endless. And
absolutely, yeah. No.
But let's get a little bit back on topic with the farm stuff. We're which is the point. Like we're really trying to get out there. Yeah. I like how you brought notes.
I did. I made notes because my brain is Swiss cheese and I would not remember anything.
That's absolutely fine. So I appreciate that.
Tell me about yourself. I have never done a single thing in my life. That's how it would go.
I play baseball on Thursdays.
That'd be about it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's about it. Like.
Yep. So just getting back to we got off topic when we're talking about how freaking hot it is in here.
Yeah. I'm starting to get better now, but I think it's because I'm getting drunk.
That's
or used to the temperature.
Probably a little bit of both.
Thank God the camera isn't close, but it is in 4K.
Oh, yeah.
And when I edit this, so like I'm gonna edit it so like when you're talking, it's gonna be zoomed in on you. When I'm talking, it's gonna be zoomed on me. I'm sweating. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, I can.
I'm
You're
sweating.
looking a little damp there, buddy.
I needed I should have brought a towel. Or like, and I'm wearing like a Hawaiian shirt and like shorts. Like, there's not much like.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't put my jeans on. Oh
yeah,
my God,
that would
I'd
have
be
definitely
dying.
been the mistake.
Doing this pantsless, Jesus Murphy. Nobody wants that.
No. This is not that type of video.
No, it is
Lynn.
not.
Jeez.
Oh man, frick. No, I remember one of the funniest things I've ever had happen to me. I've only done this a couple times, but so my dad and my uncles growing up, they would often, when they weren't farming, they would build pole barns or garages or add-ons to houses, or just straight up build houses from the ground up. They actually did the math a little bit ago, and I think they've built over 800 buildings in this county and the next. So I remember I was helping him re-roof something somewhere, and he started singing. My dad, I swear to God, he can't. He's never quiet.
Okay.
He's never quiet. He's never silent. Ever.
Kendall's never quiet.
Kendall, he does this all the time. Unless there's a radio on, he's making his own songs. It's so funny.
Something's got to be going on.
Yeah. Something's got to be going on. I remember we were on. I don't know if you know what Janis Joplin sounds like.
No.
Real whiny, real.
Like kind of like high pitched, like almost Alvin and the Chipmunks type shit, or
no, not that bad, not that bad. She was a singer in the '60s. Really, really into the whole hippie kind of movement there. She has a song called Mercedes-Benz.
Okay.
The actual song goes, "Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? My friends all drive Porsches. I must make amends." She was a working class girl, came up through she made herself.
Okay.
Well, my dad was never a huge fan of her, and I remember I don't know if I was up there with him when he first came up with this song or if it was just a repeat, but he started singing his own little parody of this song, and I nearly fell off the roof laughing at it, and everyone else who has ever heard it, which is like maybe 6 people, they have absolutely lost their minds when they heard it.
What was the parody, Lynn?
So it goes like this. I'm going to try to do the voice, and I apologize because it's going to be rough.
Here we go.
Hang on,
Lynn Reid singing. This is her debut album, the EP.
Oh, yeah.
Hope you're
So this is just the first verse. He cannot, to this day, he cannot remember the whole song, but he made a parody to the entire song. It's
he
like
just
a 3-minute
kept
song.
going.
He just kept going.
But he remembered the verse, or did you remember the verse?
He remembered the first verse,
Okay.
and I could not forget the first verse. It's unforgettable.
Okay, let's hear it.
"Oh Lord, why'd you give her such an irritating voice? I'd rather hear fingernails on the blackboard of my choice. And Lord, she was ugly. Yeah, she was a mess. Oh Lord, she looked like a man in a dress." Aged a little bit like milk, but it's still funny. That's like, drink your water, kids. You don't want to cook yourself.
When you get dehydrated, you do silly things.
That's what happens.
Why do you think like county people?
Why do you think we are the way that we are?
County people are known for doing the most ridiculous shit. 1, no internet, and 2,
we didn't have internet till like 2010.
Hey, I at least had like, no, I think I had normal internet. I didn't even have dial-up by 2010.
We never had dial-up because it didn't exist for us. Like, we literally could not have gotten it until 2010 because we still have a party line. Do you even know what that is?
Yeah, you've explained it to me. I had no idea until then, but explain it to.
So if you don't know, a party line it's a landline telephone. And ours, you could have had 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 people with the same phone number. And how it worked was everyone had a different ring pattern. So like when my mom was growing up, hers was too short and a long, and her grandmother's down the road was too long and a short.
Okay.
So that's how you knew who you were calling
Right.
and who to pick up. And it was kind of nice because if the other person was away, you could pick up and be like, you know, you could take a message for them, whatever.
Okay.
So my phone number at home is a 4-party line, but we're the only ones on it. We've been the only ones on it for years. But most people don't even know what that is. We still have a touch tone phone. Like we have the handhelds
Right
now, but we still have the one that looks like an old. It's not a rotary phone. It's one step up from a rotary phone.
My Nona still has a working rotary phone.
So does my Uncle Doug.
It's incredible.
Oh,
and one time during, I think it was Christmas, and it was just me and my cousins. I think we were like 11 to 13 or something like that, because of age range. They're all like a year younger, a year older. And we're bored, or I don't know. I'm an idiot, and I was like, let's call the cops on the rotary phone.
Oh no, that's not how that works.
Because fun,
Yeah.
right? And there's not going to be any consequences to an action like that. Of course not.
You can't trace a rotary phone.
No way. I didn't even realize the cops could I was like freaking 11. We called, someone answered, we hung up immediately. They called back.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah, they did that.
Yeah.
And thank God they didn't come during Christmas. I think one of them actually knew my dad.
Ooh,
So,
that's rough.
no, it was better because they didn't. They were like, "Oh, it was a Villalta, blah blah. Should you check it? Like, should we check it out?" And someone probably on the phone went, "Nah, it's okay. I know them. They're not dying or whatever."
Pete's stupid kid.
Yeah. Wow. I wonder how many stories are told like that. Like, yeah, and Pete's stupid kid did that.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I know that there's a lot of Kendall's stupid kid stories out there.
Yeah, but at least there's 3 of you.
There do be 3 of us, yes.
It's usually like, let me correct myself. It's usually Pete's stupid son.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah. There's only one of me, and
Yeah.
lots of rough stories.
They're entertaining.
Oh,
They serve their purpose.
absolutely. Don't get me wrong. I love them.
Oh, yeah.
Him, not so much.
Well, hey, I usually only get through about half a sentence before somebody says, "You're a Reid, aren't you?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's tough.
Yeah. I can't go anywhere. Great, half the guys that I work with now know who my family is or know somebody who knows my dad. I'm in Windsor, for God's sake. I can understand that when I was working in Tilbury, but in Windsor, come on, man.
See, like, I'm like the perfect, like, dumbass combination of both my families. Like, I look like my mom's side, but I'm built like my dad's side. So, like, no one really knows exactly who I am, especially now with the mullet. They're like, like, no one expects anything out of me. And so they're like, wait a second, you're Pete's kid? It's more of like, really? Are you sure? Did you get a DNA test?
Hey, I know all about that. Frickin' both my parents and both my sisters have brown hair and dark eyes, and I got red hair and blue eyes.
Is there like anyone in your family with red hair?
So most of my mom's cousins
Okay, so at least
have red hair.
It's
and
not
lighter
hard to
eyes.
trace it back.
Yeah, it's in there. It's just I got all the recessive genes, including the short ones.
Yeah, because Kendall's like at least 6'2".
Kendall's 6'1", 6'2". I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I mean he's an authority figure, so usually like you tend to think of someone taller. Like
all of my boyfriends growing up were scared shitless of him.
it's just an intimidation factor.
It's the barn clothes. I swear to God.
Owen didn't realize he was taller than my dad until 2 years ago.
Okay, that I can see because Pete is scary.
Right? Like it's just like an authority thing.
He has
like,
a very, very large presence.
Yeah. Trust me, I know. It's just like, and for even more context, probably should have included in the introduction, but we're having fun, so it doesn't really matter. Now I should probably say it in the podcast episode, but if not, Lynn is well, actually, how about you tell it because I will botch it up. What do you do for work and like?
Oh, I am a general machinist. I run a 5-axis CNC, and I've been doing that for 8 years now. Just recently moved up to a 5-axis, but I've been a machinist since I was about 16.
And so, like 5-axis, like what do you mean by 5-axis? Like,
so the way my machine works is you've got the table that goes So the x-axis is if you're looking at my machine this way, the x-axis goes this way, back and forth in front of you.
Okay.
The y-axis is the head moving away from you and towards you. The z-axis is obviously up and down, and then the A and C axis in my machine is the head will rotate this way, and it'll also rotate this way.
Okay. So it's pretty cool. Like
it is very cool.
You build like molds for like or parts for certain like cars and
God, the list is endless of who we do work for.
I'm sure we have to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, we can't be naming names here.
Yeah.
But
I think there's like a couple like official ones. Like I know you guys are an official supplier of GM.
Yes,
so
we are an official tier 3. I think it's tier 3 supplier for GM, so we do a lot of molds for them. Just massive chunks of steel. Like I'm still blown away by how big these things are. Like the last 7 years at my old shop, I was doing things that could fit in the palm of my hand.
Right.
A lot of stuff that was smaller than my fingernails.
So like for smaller parts, like for like smaller molds and stuff like that, you're trading for.
Yeah.
Like...
So actually, this is the first time I've ever worked in molds.
Okay.
What I was doing before was a lot of assembly fixtures. So like if you're online at Chrysler or Ford's, for example, putting together like one thing we did was assembly fixtures for the Chevy bow ties and the GMC logos, like the guys that go on your grill.
Yeah.
So you would get all these plastic parts that had been shot in a mold before, and then you line them all up and you hit these two sensors on each side, and it would squish them together, clip them all together so that they could be installed in a grill or whatever. And
then you chip those onto like to Chrysler so they can install them on the line.
Yeah. So we didn't actually assemble them. We made the machines that assembled those, and then we would send the machines to Chrysler's.
Okay.
And they would be or whoever it was.
Right.
Whoever our customer would be. Yeah.
So like working in a small shop like that, there's got to be a lot of shenanigans.
Oh, there was a lot of shenanigans. I remember when I first got hired. So when I first started in the trade, I think, if my math is right, I was 15.
Okay. Wow.
Super young.
So you knew very, very early what you kind of wanted to do, at least.
Kind of, but also not really.
Okay.
So for the longest time, I said I wanted to be an aerospace engineer or a mechanical engineer. But then I actually talked to whoever it was, the careers teacher, the guidance counselor, whatever it was.
The person who ruins dreams.
Pretty well, yeah. And they're like, hey, did you know that engineers sit in a desk and look at a computer all day? And I went, oh, no, that is what I'm trying to avoid.
Yeah.
So I was like, crap, now what? And then a few months later, the co-op teacher came around to my civics class, actually. I was in grade 10, I remember. And was like, hey, we're starting this new program for trades. It's called OYAP. If anybody's interested, here's a bunch of information about it. This is what it's all going to be about. We're starting with the machining trade because their machine shop. I went to Bell River High School. They've got a pretty nice machine shop. It gets the job done.
Because Holy Names was definitely like central Windsor. Or more South Windsor, but definitely way like we had a shop and we had like a auto shop, and we had a carpentry shop, but the focus on trades was not there. Like,
no, and it still isn't in a lot of schools. Like it kind of sounds weird to say, but I will say it's getting a lot better. But for the longest time, parents were just, and teachers too, were driving it down kids' throats that like, unless you get a 4-year degree, you are useless and dumb. And that is not true at all, because tradesmen are some of the smartest people I've ever met. They're all
some of the most well paid.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of one of the selling points in my co-op teacher's little presentation for us was that he told us, drive down Riverside Drive. All those giant houses on the waterfront, they're all tradesmen.
Yeah.
And by and large, they are.
Or people who own like shops or anything like that, but they started out as tradesmen.
Exactly. They started out sweeping floors just like the rest of us did.
Yeah. Like, and that's one of those things is like, the gap, it's very much a generational gap.
It is.
Because like when our parents grew up, our grandparents were for my parents especially, or more specifically my dad, because when my mom grew up on a farm, when he grew up on the farm, the expectation to go to university wasn't exactly there, and my mom was the first one to ever go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So out of the family, but like for my dad, especially Italian new immigrant coming over, it was like you need to get this to be successful. Like then he didn't. He went into the trade, and Nona wasn't too happy about that, but that went on to our generation even more. Like it was, especially since for them at the time, getting that degree did mean a lot. Like you would make a lot of money back then.
Oh, for sure. It was viewed back then as a guarantee that you would be at least comfortable in life.
Yeah.
With a 4-year degree. But
society has changed.
It is, and it's changing a lot. You know, like a lot of tradesmen are I work with a lot of old men, for lack of better terms. You know, like the workforce, especially in the machining trade, is they're retiring.
Aging out.
They're aging out. They're retiring. You know, like a good probably 60% of the shop that I work in now, they're all north of 40, north of 50. You know, like the guy that trained me when I first switched shops, I think he's gonna be 40 this year, and I was a little surprised that I wasn't being trained by like a 60-year-old, you know, somebody who just refuses to retire.
The thing is, like, and we'll see that more with like the next generation of tradies. I think is more like they want to get their pension, they're gonna make their pension, and then they're gonna retire. Yeah, and then
I can see it now. It's, you know, you hear all these like our parents' age saying, you know, oh, kids these days don't have a work ethic, they don't know how to work. They're not really wrong.
They're not wrong. It's more in a sense where I feel like it's changed, where like the idea behind living older has been replaced. Well, you're older and you can't do anything. Like, especially since like for example, I look at my dad. And the person I respect probably more than anyone else on the planet.
For sure.
But he's been working his ass off since he was 15.
Oh, absolutely. He worked very hard for everything he has, and he deserves it.
And now the old man's 60.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like, and yes, he still did a lot of stuff while he was young, while working, while doing a bunch of other stuff. But at the same time, like when are you going to live?
Exactly. And that's exactly my point. Like, I feel like I've found a pretty good balance between working and doing what I want to do. You know, like the world is going to hell. Everybody knows it.
Oh yeah, we're
and
fucked.
I am very much on I am here to make money so that I can go to my concerts and I can go to races. I am working to live here.
Yeah.
Like God only knows if I'll ever be able to afford a house. I'm putting money away for my future and all that other stuff. I don't really know what it holds yet, but I have a good chunk that I use for fun, because you know what? I don't want to have to wait until I'm too old and broken to do anything.
And I really do think the trade is also like, even like my dad, to give more context, my dad is the plant manager at where Lynn works. And for example, like he wants to, like, I actually don't know where I was going with this. Maybe it's too much whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Like I was probably gonna say something about, I actually don't know. Like
I think I know the direction you were headed, and I think I agree. If you were going where I think you were going, your dad runs a very tight ship.
Oh yeah.
There is no screwing around. Work gets done, and work gets done on time.
Yep. No. Now I remember. Sorry, ladies. Sorry, audience. He's had to change like a lot of his viewpoints and perspectives.
Yes.
For the younger worker.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because anybody south of 40 anymore does not act like someone closer to your dad's age.
And doesn't want to work 70-hour work weeks.
No. I work, I think, what's my regular work week right now? 4 10s and 8 and a 4. So that's 6 days a week.
Mm-hmm. And it's still a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I'm pushing, I think it's roughly 52 to 55 hours a week. Like, that's a lot. I remember I've talked to Emma about this different times. She's like, "What days do you work this week?" I'm like, "Dude," and this has been going on
basically
for
like
the
every week.
entire 5 years we've been friends,
Yeah.
and it's it's obviously it's not her fault. I mean,
So
most
when you
people
compare
our
a film,
age,
you're comparing a film student to a trade, like
Yeah.
as someone who's working a full-time job.
Exactly.
Like it's completely different.
and this is more than a full time job. You know, I'm regularly getting like 15 hours of overtime a week.
Yeah, which is great money.
Which is great. I love it. It's awesome. But you have to have a lot of drive to get that done.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of times, Em would be like, we're going out this day. And it would be like on a Tuesday or a Wednesday or something. Like, dude, I can't. I have to get up at 5 o'clock so I can go to work in the morning.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just not going to happen. So I've missed out on a lot of stuff that way. But at the same time, I've been able to, having this career has enabled me to buy the music festival tickets or take the weekend off and go and
you can easily afford to go to Boots and Hearts, have your own truck, pay for it.
I bought that truck. I bought that truck when I was 18 years old, and I paid it off 3 years early.
Which is nuts, but which is great though. Like
yeah, it's amazing. Like most kids our age, they work a part-time job maybe. Most people our age are still in school or whatever. It's like they can't fathom working more than 20 or 25 hours a week.
The average age, like especially now for people who enter the trade, my dad says, is usually like 25. Usually people who have gotten their university degree realized, oh shit, this thing's fucking useless.
Yeah,
like,
useless or I
hate it because my parents made me go into made me pick a program that I didn't really love.
Yeah.
And then when I went into actually, because there's no work studies really anymore or anything like that. For certain careers there is, like if you want to be a doctor or a nurse or something.
Yeah, for sure. You gotta.
There's certain things, but like if you've really like, for example, I was a film student. But I found out I really love doing live production, but the university never covers anything live production.
Yeah, like what do you mean, like plays, musicals and stuff?
Like no, like more like what we do at for the Windsor Spitfires, or even like live TV.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Stuff like that. Like that's really really cool. Something I'm super into.
And you're very good at your job.
I like to think so, but for more context, I am also a high-speed camera operator for the Windsor Spitfires, technically for a company called Intense Media that is employed by the Windsor Spitfires, and
they put on a great show.
We basically do all the in-house show for this junior A hockey club, which is for Americans. Think of it like basically we run the production for like an NCAA hockey league. Is the direct comparison, and I absolutely love that. But I learned more from that job than I ever learned from any year I did in university.
Oh, absolutely, and it's the same with the trades. I mean, like I still feel so bad for my high school shop teacher because they sent us. We had the way OEAP works is we had one semester in grade 11. Our first semester of grade 11, so the fall was 2 shop classes, math and English, because you have to have math and English to graduate.
Right.
So we did it was actually all of the first year college curriculum that we did in class. Any book work that we did in our that first semester there was first year college stuff.
Which is cool.
It is. It's really cool.
Yeah.
For something I will get into later. So we did all that stuff, and then they sent us out to work for a full calendar year.
Okay.
So our second semester of grade 11 and our first semester of grade 12, and it was up to the shop if they wanted to keep you on for the summer. So
which is cool.
It is. It was great. It was really good experience. It gave us a taste of what it was going to be like working in the trades.
And unless you're a complete idiot, most shops are probably going to keep you for the summer.
It was free labor. The government was paying our wages.
Oh, even in the summer too?
Yeah.
Of course they're going to keep you.
It was a pretty dope deal.
You have to be a fucking idiot if they didn't want to keep you. You would have to be losing them money somehow.
I don't think the government picked up the entire check, but it was like 75, 80. Like
where
it was
you're
chunk.
basically almost getting free labor
pretty
after
much.
taxes, probably.
Pretty much.
Right?
Even if you've got somebody with rocks for brains, it's still free labor. So we went out to work. They placed me in a shop that was 5 minutes from my house. Literally couldn't have worked out better. And same shit. Like it was 10 guys, and at that time I think there were 7 of us. So super small shop.
Pause just for 2 seconds. Obviously, we should probably talk about being a woman in the trades is something that 30, 40 years ago would have been completely unheard of.
Oh, for 30, 40 years ago, that's you're reaching. 20 years ago,
20 years ago,
15 was it was kind of an anomaly.
Even now, I think it's still an anomaly. Like, people are like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, most people. A lot of times, people. I'll say, oh yeah, I work for such and such company, and they'll be like, oh, you're like, are you a secretary? Like, what do you do there?
Do you work in the offices?
Yeah, do you
like
work
the
in the
first
office?
question.
I'm like, nah.
Like, nah, bitch, I'm on the floor.
I make steel chips all day long. What do you do?
What do you do, bitch?
Brenda?
Brenda. You go be a secretary somewhere else. I got this.
Yeah, so they sent me out, this little 15, 16-year-old girl. They're like, all right, have fun.
Good luck.
Good luck. Here's some
lunch money.
Some lunch money. Not even that.
Fuck.
Here's a scale and a drill and tap chart. Have fun. I honestly, I kind of lucked out. I really lucked out, actually. I got into a shop that was really very patient with me, and they took the time to actually teach me how shit worked there. And I mean, it's a real steep learning curve anytime you switch a shop, because that's one thing that I really hate about this trade specifically, is that every place does things differently. There's different terminology for everything. Like, yeah, fine, it means the same. It's the same thing.
But you still have to almost relearn. It's
there's
like
a lot of
it's like learning a different language.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new language being thrown around. There's a lot of different protocols that you have to learn, and I'm still learning. Like, I've had one of my bosses over almost every day this week being like, "Hey, why did you do this?" I'm like, "This is my reasons." He's like, "Okay, you're right, but no."
You're right, but this is how we do things here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I've told them.
I don't think, and when they say that, they're not upset. They're more
absolutely not. They're just like, hey, what the hell?
Yeah, like, oh, so explain to me.
Yeah, give me, what's the thought process here, my man?
I feel like I'm back in grade school, and it's like, okay.
Show your work.
Yeah, fucking show your work. God damn it.
Yeah.
Dude, that's giving me PTSD by itself.
Oh my God, yeah. How do you know? Show how you know. I don't want to.
It
worked.
I got it.
Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, but no, I was 16 years old. They're like, all right, here's your placement. Here's a 5-minute tour of the joint. You start Monday. I'm like, all right, cool. So I started just like everybody else does. I was sweeping floors. I was, cutting stock for the guys, the machinists. And they actually started me out on a lathe.
Okay.
In my first shop there. We were in Comber at that time, and this place was so tiny. It was so cramped. We could just barely, it was hilarious. Anytime we didn't have a crane. So anytime we had to, one of our biggest jobs that we did and still do is, these things they bolt onto the side of dies for D-rings to go through so that you can lift the tops off of molds.
Okay.
Actually, it's funny. The parts that I was making at my old shop are on a lot of the molds that I see at the new shop. Yeah,
that is
it's
pretty
kinda
cool. You're like going for the progression.
Sad. Yeah, it makes me sad. I'm like, oh, Matt did this.
What happens when you see like one that's like kind of fucked up? You're like, fuck you, man. Like,
dude, yeah, no, it was hilarious. Actually, I was talking to one of the guys that I work with now, and I was looking at one of them. I'm like, oh, we broke a cutter here. The machine, so our machines at our old shop, they had this nasty habit of just kind of crapping out whenever they wanted to, and a lot of times the head would let go and it would just smash into the top of the job.
Nice.
A lot of times it wouldn't scrap the job, but it would, it sometimes look a little ugly.
You see a scratch or some damage for sure.
Yeah, a little bit. But it was so funny. Literally, this happened like 2 weeks ago. I was looking at one. And I'm like, yeah, my buddy Matt did this, blah, whatever. This is how we did it. And because like these things are massive, they're huge, and we have to do them in like 4 different setups just to get everything the way it needs to be. And I'm like, oh yeah, here he broke the inserts here because you could see there was a little nick. There was a flaw in the grain of the cutter path. I'm like, oh, broke a cutter.
So does that almost feel like a progression for like now that like you're going through like from such a smaller shop to like probably the biggest shop in Windsor?
One of the biggest for sure. Yeah, I definitely it was 100% a step in the right direction, and I am nothing but grateful to the guys at L&M. They really taught me a lot. They were incredibly patient with me. They quite literally taught me everything I know.
It's probably like a fantastic place to learn.
It was a very, very good place to learn. If I started at somewhere like Integrity, like one of the huge shops in Windsor, I honestly don't know if I would have lasted, because I am a very fast learner, and I pride myself on being able to pick things up quickly. But I know a lot of kids that were in the OEAP program with me. They got placed at bigger shops, whether it was off Patillo or in Windsor, like in Oldcastle or wherever it was. They got stuck in Square Up, and they're still there to this day.
Which is crazy.
It's nuts, but that's kind of how it works in the trades. If you get stuck in a big shop, like if you start in a big shop, a lot of times
you get pigeonholed pretty quickly.
Yeah, exactly. You get pigeonholed pretty quickly. You know, you get really, really good at this one thing, and then they don't want to take the time to train you on something else.
Which is tough.
And that's a nice thing about the shop I'm at now. Like my machine partner, he was a gun drill operator. He's been there for 10 years, and he was a gun drill operator for those 10 years. And he was like, listen, boys, I am either going to switch shops, or we need to switch some things around, because like, and I can't say that I blame him. Gun drill oil is tough.
Yeah.
It's not a fun time.
For people who don't really understand what, and myself, because I'm...
I've never actually come into contact with gun drill oil personally, but I see the drums roll in, and it basically says, this will cause cancer. Do not touch it. Do not breathe it in. Do not look at it.
It's just like a super coolant, basically.
So gun drill oil, gun drills are a machine that, it sounds really scary. They're pretty boring. I think our biggest one can drill 96 inches through a block straight. And gun drills are, it's this big long rod that is like Pac-Man if he had a 90-degree mouth. Okay. So that's what cross section of it looks like. And there is carbide inserts in the end, and there's I think the only gun drill I've ever worked with had 3 inserts along the side to clear the sidewall of the drill or of the hole. So gun drill oil is specially formulated. It's probably 100% chemical man-made junk.
Oh, for sure.
But especially formulated to lubricate and cool steel while you're drilling these stupid long holes. And it has to these gun drills, they have holes bored all the way through them, so that the gun drill oil comes from inside the machine through the spindle and out the end of the tool to flush everything out the end of it. Otherwise you would be welding stuff into the middle of blocks.
You would just be like burning through it.
You'd be chewing up cutters like crazy. Okay. Yeah. But so yeah, that's Craig's great. We love Craig.
Craig's the teacher, basically.
No, he's my partner. Adam's the guy training me. We also love Adam. He's cool.
Craig is the one who got told his face looks like mine, and that our faces look like we have pubes.
Roasted the crap out of him and you in the same sentence.
Oh, that's great. That's my dad, efficient, if any. Oh, yeah. He's like, wait a second.
I still haven't seen those pictures either.
Good luck.
Amrita come around and took all those pictures. I freaking, oh my God. Men, why are you like this? Amrita comes around, she's like, okay, I'm gonna go see these 3 guys in the mold making department, and then I'm coming to see you, so like go fix yourself up. I'm like, all right. It was 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm like, all right, I gotta, and I had brought makeup and stuff.
Which is like probably like a particular thing like HR has to do now, because like typically you go and take pictures and you're like, whatever, like the dudes aren't gonna give a shit.
No, the guys don't give a shit. She did that of her own accord. She was like, this is the date that we're going to be taking pictures. If you want to bring stuff, if you want to bring some makeup or get your hair done or something like that, like let me know. And I'll give you a heads up. This is when we're thinking about doing it, and I'll give you a heads up when we're actually gonna make this happen. And it's just, I think it's just promo pictures for the website or whatever. Right.
So most people other than customers are probably not ever gonna see it.
Yeah, I doubt it.
But at the same time, you're gonna go look at it. You're gonna go, and like I remember you were telling me about the first time like pictures were taken or something, and they gave you absolutely zero warning.
And free lunch Friday every time. I'm in every single one.
And then they put it in the shop, right? Like they show them in the shop.
Yeah, they've got TVs at the front of the shop and above the APD room, and which is the pod room for programming. They've got giant TV screens all around the shop that it's like a bulletin board. The electronic bulletin board is what they call it, and it just rotates. Like, hey, we've got to tell us as a deal with us right now, or this guy's been here for 3 years. Say congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
It's his anniversary, whatever. Yeah.
Or it's Pete's birthday.
It's Pete's birthday. I don't know if they had one for his birthday, but it was his 31 years a little bit ago. And I was like, oh damn, Pete, look at you.
I'm making sure. I'm gonna call in. I'm gonna be like, you better put something for Pete's birthday.
When is his birthday?
July 10th.
July 10th. Okay, I will write that down.
Write it down and you'll
send him an edible arrangement.
I think he. If it's during the week, he probably doesn't take it off. Knowing him, depending.
He wasn't there today. I was shocked, unless he went in the morning and just left early. But he wasn't there at 10 o'clock. I did not get my Pete wave today.
Damn. Is your day heavily affected if you don't get your Pete wave?
Of course.
Right? Yeah. He says he goes and he he says if he misses somebody, he tries to say hi to everybody on both shifts. Other than you guys don't have a midnight shift, right? It's just
we do, but it's continental. It's kind of weird.
Okay.
So our shifts are right now for me and for Craig and I personally. Craig works day shift, whether it's Craig or me, works 6:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning till 4:30 in the afternoon, and then afternoons comes in 4:30, and right now I'm working till 3 o'clock in the morning, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It's 10 hours, so there's 4 hours of just nothing going on at the shop, nothing going on my machine. There's always something going on at the shop. I think. I was talking to the one janitor right around Christmas time, and he's like, Christmas Day or Boxing Day or something. I was here, and I shut the lights off, and somebody started swearing over on one of the machines in the pits. It's like, dude, go home. You're the only one in the plant.
Yeah, for on Good Friday, we went to grab cardboard because we were doing a fish fry, and my dad didn't want to get oil on the concrete.
Fair.
And so we went to Omega to grab it. And then I'm looking, and it's the first time I've ever seen the parking lot that empty. It was empty. And I was like, he's like, yeah, no, actually, most people didn't want to work Good Friday because usually it's volunteer if you want to work holiday.
It is, yeah. They're never gonna tell you no, don't come to work.
Yeah.
We'll
find something for you to do.
Literally,
we promise.
Yeah. There is always something to do, especially in a shop that big. There's always something to do, when I leave at every day this week, when I leave at 3 o'clock in the morning, the parking lot that I use is shared between Plant 1 and Plant 2.
Right.
And there is 6 cars.
Which is tough.
That's a lot. And this company employs 300, 400 people.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest
6
companies
cars.
in the city.
Yeah, it is. It is. And no, it's been really good though. I really do. I'm very glad that I made the jump, and I'm glad that I took the time off that I did in between jobs.
It gives you time to think.
I don't want to. I'm not here to talk bad about any other shop. I was at my old shop for 7.5 years, and I had a mental breakdown, and I took some time off about a year before I actually quit.
Yeah.
But I was raised that you never quit. You don't quit anything.
No,
and
it's
and
that's the boomer mentality.
I curse my parents daily for giving me a work ethic.
Kendall's 59 or 60 now, or turning 60.
Kendall will be. He was born in 65, so Kendall will be 58 on June 20th.
Okay, so he's 2 years younger than my dad. Does he make it into the boomer category? Because my dad just makes it in.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so, but I don't know for sure.
So yeah, I think my dad's literally the last 2 years of that boomer category. And to emphasize the point of you staying at your job, the person he's an older man now who owns Omega. My dad was cutting grass for him when he was 15 years old or 14 years old, and it's still working for him to this day.
I still haven't met him.
I've seen him. Met the old man.
I seen him at Christmas, but I was on my way to the lunch that they had for us,
right?
Which was fantastic, by the way. I was blown away.
Was that the
I think it was the Essex Golf Club that did it. Oh my god, it was so good.
My sister just got a job there.
That's what Em was saying. That's so great for her.
They have to do 15% gratuity no matter what.
Seriously.
So she's making so much bank.
Sign me up, Tally. Holy crap.
Fuck. She's gonna be making it doesn't matter what the fuck I do. She's
blow
gonna
you
be
right
making
out of the
more
water.
money. Yeah.
And she's pretty.
I'm screwed.
She's killing it.
She's killing it. She's done it doesn't
Go Tally.
But they did you guys have Was there dessert included with the?
I think there was cake, but I didn't have any. I ate so much prime rib. Oh my god.
Oh, fuck, you guys had prime rib.
I'm pretty sure it was prime rib.
I
if it
fucking
wasn't
love
prime rib, it was a beautiful
like a tenderloin,
roast.
or well, then it was probably prime rib.
Yeah.
If you're having a roast and it tastes and you're like, this is prime rib, it's probably prime rib.
I'm pretty sure it was prime rib.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was fantastic.
No, next time have the cake.
Yes.
Because Essex makes a carrot cake, and that's my dad's favorite, and so that's probably what he orders.
I think that now that you say that, I think it was carrot cake.
It is incredible. It is like the most ridiculously good fucking tasting carrot cake you will ever have in your entire life. Like I wouldn't even know how to describe it. Like it honestly, if everyone ate this carrot cake, we would be at world peace.
All right, I will definitely try it next time then.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
no, I
But
see
prime,
the old man.
I understand wanting to eat more prime rib as a replacement.
Listen, I could never be a vegetarian or a vegan or
No fucking
anything.
way.
Oh, can't.
I
Cannot do
could
without
respect it.
man.
I could respect it.
Oh, I definitely
for sure.
get it. You do you, man. More for me. That is my take on that. I will eat your ribs. Don't you even worry. I will eat your share.
I will eat it for sure, and I will respect the animal for
Absolutely.
you. I promise.
Absolutely. Listen, I don't know if I could kill Bambi, but I will 100% eat
it.
Bambi.
Fuck
Oh,
Bambi.
man.
I want Bambi's mom. They shot.
You know what I meant.
They shot her.
They
make
shot
her.
Bambi's
Make her into
mom.
some beautiful
Make her into some nice rump roasts or burgers or something.
venison pepperettes.
We are
Oh,
so
yeah.
spoiled with venison around here, dude. Grain-fed deer. Are you kidding me?
It's incredible,
Dude, you can taste the difference between an Essex County deer and a frickin' Muskoka deer. 100%.
Yeah?
100%. Are you kidding me? Corn-fed venison versus pine needle-fed venison?
Right. So it's just
Wildly different.
it's just like obviously. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no venison farms around here. It's
No.
just they're eating the corn here. They're eating, and then the
Yeah, I
taste is that good.
say grain fed, but it's just because they live in the bushes that
Right.
are around, and there's cornfields fucking everywhere.
Oh yeah. The moment it's just fucking flat.
Yeah.
And it's just corn.
Yeah.
It's like, hi, there's
Yep.
corn there.
Yep.
Oh look over there. There's corn there. I have to
I don't
go
know
all the
if
way
you
out to
guys-
fucking London to see anything that looks like a hill that isn't built on garbage.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I
it's-
don't know if you guys have seen this party trick of mine yet, but I can differentiate between the different kinds of corn, beans, and wheat in the field. Like I can even just the little baby sprouts.
Yep.
By color. Soybeans,
I mean,
corn.
I would hope so. Lynn.
Obviously, beans and corn sprouts look different because the leaves are different shapes. But I can tell the difference between seed corn and feed corn and sweet corn by the color. And I can tell the difference between snow peas, snap peas, and soybeans.
Would you like a top off?
I would like a top up. Might as well. Oh my god.
Oh, you'll be okay.
Ah.
You had more than me.
Yeah.
I mean, I drank
but
more already,
I'm supposed to be going to Chuck's for drinks later tonight. Madison might have to drive me.
Yeah, that's fine as long as we do not condone drinking.
No,
and driving
do not
here
drink and
at
driving
Sit and
ever.
drink.
Always drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly.
That is no joke.
110%.
Yep. No, you guys will see that probably on the way to the races this year.
Okay.
I can fire off almost down to the species.
Which is pretty nuts.
It's
fun.
It's neat for city kids like you.
Yeah, for sure. We're like, me and Em will be sitting in the back. We'll be like, wow, Lynn, that's great. And they're like,
Yeah, oh, I know you roll your eyes at
we'll be
me,
like,
but
fuck, really?
listen.
What, this is bean version 6.8?
Okay, not that much, not that nitpicky.
This is the sprout that hailed from the Scandinavian Isles.
Listen, I still know the code of the tomatoes that we grew back in the day, and I wasn't even alive then.
Which is, don't get me wrong, as much as we make fun of it, it's still very
Oh, yeah.
impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's one of the things is like,
You want to come to the bonfires? You got to deal with the nerdery.
one, yes, and bonfires are
Fuck, I
fantastic.
cannot wait for bonfire season this year.
Oh my god,
It's coming. Mom had one the other day. I'm pissed. I wasn't even home.
this
it
week
was-
is summer.
The day I stayed in Windsor this week, Wednesday I think it was.
Okay.
They had a bon. No, it was last night because I got home. It was still smoking this morning when I left for work. After work last night. I stopped by Al's for a drink, which is a Oh, I cannot wait to take you guys to Al's after baseball for a drink. Oh my God.
Well, I love Al.
That is a treat and a
Al's
half.
great.
He's so great.
Al is one of Kendall's friends, Lynn's dad.
Yeah.
And,
for context, I hang out with a lot of men that are my dad's age. They called me their
like
Lisa
old
Way
men.
the other day. We're like David. Al was 3 sheets to the wind at this time. We love him. It was Saturday night. We're all having drinks. We're hanging out, watching the race. And he's like, he turns to me and he goes, Lynn, you're like our Lisa Way. This is Dave and Chuck the Freak, and you're our Lisa Way because no other woman will put up with our shenanigans. Like, you got that right.
When I was a plumber, which was not for...
I always forget you were a plumber. That is nuts.
Which was for not a very long time. My favorite part of the day is when my fucking journeyman would shut the fuck up for like about 5 minutes and we would listen to Dave and Chuck the Freak. Because I didn't have to hear his condescending fucking ass talk about whatever bullshit I was doing too slow or how bad I was at this job. And we just listened to fucking Dave and Chuck the Freak talking about how some chicks can't have sex anymore and have had to have surgery because the guy's dick was too big or something.
Oh my God,
like,
I remember that
you
segment.
I remember this. And for people,
Oh, God.
once again, and I mean, I don't mean to promote radio here because podcasts are so much better. But for tradies in the Detroit area, and well, they
stream it in
AM,
Boston.
right?
They stream
Yeah.
it in freaking Australia
Yeah,
now.
so
Like it's basically worldwide.
Dave and Chuck the Freak is literally the funniest thing I've ever heard
my
on
God,
radio
it's
to this
amazing.
day.
The fact that they're both Canadian too.
It's the most podcast like modern looking thing on radio ever.
Oh, absolutely.
I think.
It's what is it? Dave, Chuck, Andy, and sometimes the boss is in there too.
Yeah.
And Lisa.
But mostly
Yes.
it's Dave and Chuck, and with the most insane, like most inappropriate or ridiculous topic ever.
Yeah.
And
anything the news won't cover, basically.
Yeah. And these guys are not exactly like the most PG people ever. So it's usually
it just makes the cut of public
For sure.
of public radio. All right.
okay.
Going
So
again?
we had a little bit of technical difficulties. The camera actually overheated. That's how hot it is in here.
It is hot as balls, and we were melting. And
But just to get us a little bit more on track, we basically explained to everyone what Dave and Chuck the Freak was.
yes,
And
Yep.
Lisa from Dave and Chuck the Freak is basically, so it's Dave and Chuck, and they're saying their most obscene, like, dude, like, it's not even like dude bro shit. It's more just like funny guy shit,
yeah,
which there's a
Yeah.
pretty big difference, I
there
think.
is. It's a fine line, but
Yeah,
but
there's
there is
like-
a difference.
There's like douchey dude bro shit.
There's being an asshole, and there's Dave and Chuck the Freak who are like it is very much a news
Yeah.
outlet.
Well, and
but like
they're never trying to insult you. It's more just being funny.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
idea.
Like for example, this past week, before I went on went on night shift, I was listening to them, and they reported on this woman in one of the Carolinas, and her name was like Clitoria or something, like her actual legal name, just
That's a
to
little tough.
give you a taste of the kind of things that they report on, like, just the absolute most ridiculous stuff. And they started out on 89X, actually. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, and then they moved over. I remember seeing the I think I was probably maybe 15, maybe even younger, and you saw on the billboards that we changed locations, and they were showing it all over Windsor to make sure.
When I first found out about them was when I started in the trade, and they had already been on Riff for a little while at that point.
Yeah, that's the first time I actually listened to them too.
Yeah, Lisa's been with them the entire time, which good on her, because...
And yeah, so that basically Lisa is... She's also, like, I've also heard Lisa say some pretty obscene shit.
Oh my God, yeah.
She'll come out of nowhere. But I've also heard you...
She slips them in.
I've also heard you say some of the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard in my entire life. So,
yeah.
it is a very
especially
accurate...
when I get into the whiskey, especially bonfire nights, absolutely
we're done for.
ridiculous.
We're done for. We're burning shit, and we're just getting fucked up. And
gone. No, it's...
not driving home.
Growing up on a farm, it's funny. When I first started at Omega, one of the guys said to me, I was talking to him. I'm like, have you heard anything about how I'm doing. Like, what's the general consensus of them hiring a woman for the machining department?
Actually, just out of my own general curiosity and for the audience, how many women are on the floor?
So in I only know about plant 1,
which is the biggest plant.
which is the big one. There's me in the machining department, and I think that's it. We have a one of the custodians is a woman on afternoon shift, Frances. We love her.
But it's still very much like
It is very much a boys' game.
Yeah.
It is very much a boys' club. I think there's a few women on the paint line in plant 2, and I don't think there's any women in plant 3. But like I said, I've never even been in plant 2 or 3 yet, so I really can't speak to that. But
there's probably at least 200 people in plant 1. Like plant 1's the biggest plant for sure.
Yeah, not counting the women in the office. I'm the only girl on the floor. I'm pretty sure.
Which is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's to me personally, it's impressive because you have to deal with so much other bullshit on top of that.
You gotta have. I don't like this turn of phrase. You gotta have thick skin. You do, but as much
because there's gonna be guys that are creeps.
There definitely is. There definitely is. No matter where you go, no matter what shop you go to, no matter crepe. Even at the college.
Yeah.
Even at the college, it was rough.
But there's guys that are like, I mean, obviously I'm a dude, so I can't really speak on it too much. But I feel like there's guys that are creeps, and then there's dudes that they might say something slightly offensive, or they might say something, but it's not coming from a bad place.
Oh, absolutely. I can give you 10 examples right now of things that the guys have said to me since I started there. I've been there 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of women would take that incredibly offensively, and it's like, yeah, okay, shut the hell up, go back to work.
Yeah, go back to work.
And I'll fire something back just as bad, if not worse.
Well, I feel like that's like
you gotta have a sense of humor.
Our dynamic is so good.
Yeah.
Because we just go back and forth no matter what.
Yeah,
like,
there's no hurt feelings.
Yeah,
there's no hurt feelings. You don't mean it. There's no malintent behind anything. Yeah. And it's just it's ribbing,
Yeah. It's genuine funny ribbing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just fucking around. Like my the guy that trained me when I first started there. Like I fire sass at him all day long.
Yeah.
And he loves it. He fires it right back. But there's a few guys there. Like there's a few guys there that are bosses or managers or whatever. It's like, they demand respect, and that's totally fine. That's absolutely. Right. And yeah, that's not to say that I don't respect.
But that's more of an authority thing than a gender thing, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That for sure. Like I was saying, I was talking to one of the guys a few months after I had been hired. I think it was shortly after Christmas. I'm like, Jesse, what do the guys think of me? I'm trying really hard to make friends. I'm really bad at it in general. I
would personally disagree, but maybe that's because I'm not that great at making friends either, and we get along very well.
We do get along really well,
yeah.
And it's
like never before have I ever dated like someone and actually like their best friend.
Oh, for sure. And that goes for everyone else in your friend group too. I absolutely love you guys. You guys are great. I have never had any group of friends, whether they were mine or someone I was dating or a friend of a friend or whatever. I have never ever taken that many people up north.
Yeah.
And we're doing it again this year.
We're
going to have a fucking riot again.
It was so fun.
It was a great time. I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah.
But I am a very awkward, clunky person in general. And I do, for lack of a better term, I don't think before I speak a lot of times. So shit that comes out of my mouth is a little off the wall sometimes.
And we're really grooving back to the first part of this episode.
Yeah. Yeah. See, exactly my point.
Yeah, no, and that,
you don't call somebody, you don't say that.
And at the same time, that's very fair. I think like the first time after we met, you were like, fucking Emily's friend Lynn, just like, what a cockblock. Oh fuck, she like, oh, I guess I'm gonna have to get past that before I can get to Emily.
Listen, she is my best friend. I'm very protective of her.
And that's very much like the average best friend vibe.
Yeah.
But the fact that like after
I call it like it is.
but you are also willing to get to know us.
Absolutely. I will give anybody a
which
shot.
you don't see a lot.
No, yeah.
And then that's why we as a group got to know each other so well.
Yeah, we
and,
all get along super well. I've never had this happen before.
Yeah,
I have never gotten along with a friend's significant other's friends or one of my significant other's friends.
I really don't like douchebags. It hurts me.
I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty easy to get along with.
You are, but I think you're easily to get along with. Easy to get along with. Fuck, there's the whiskey talking. But that and that's very much like the thing. It's just like there's just a lot of like male culture and like dude bros that are just like they cannot get past that, or they can't, like. And
that was what he said. I'm like how am I doing socially in this whole environment? Because I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't.
Well, when you fill a building with 300 people, there's no matter what you do, it's going to be high school like. No matter what.
It is. It's ridiculous. You would not believe the gossip that flies around that place. It's nuts. But he's like, he looked at me. He's like, "You're doing great. The guys all love you. Like, I don't know why you're worried." He's like, so I have 2 younger sisters, and most of my friends, shocker, most of my friends growing up were guys.
Okay.
I've always just gotten along better with them. It's, I'm not like those other girls. That's not the case. Like, well, I
genuinely think there's a difference between like. I've met the girls that are like, I'm different than other girls. Yeah. And I've met you and Em and Maddie and all of them. Yeah. And genuinely, like, you've been a part of our friend group for now about a year and like a couple months.
Yeah.
And there really hasn't, like, I mean, there's been a couple stupid things that are part of like the man problem that I've but I don't think you guys have done anything wrong at all.
No, like and that's the thing. Like, he was genuinely shocked that I don't have brothers, just because of the way I carry myself, or the way I act, the way I talk, whatever. But like, I'm the oldest of 3 girls, and anybody who knows my family will tell you that I am a carbon copy of my dad.
Yeah.
Whether it between speech patterns and just the way I act, the way I carry myself, it's just the way I am. I've always been like that, like actually I'm kind of coming due. I'm debating whether I'm going to do it or not, but every couple years I usually cut all my hair off, like pixie cut, short, probably about the longest part of my hair is probably about as long as yours is right now. And fun. Usually
I think you should do a mullet before you do that, at least for a month.
I'm considering it. I don't know.
Especially since if you're going to do that, no matter what,
see,
fuck it with the mullet, no matter, like, just do it with, like, for fuck's sake.
I honestly might do it. I don't know. My cousin's getting married at the end of August, so I gotta keep the long hair at least for that long. Yeah, gotta
get the pictures, or you're gonna disappoint the family.
Exactly. Well, not necessarily disappoint.
Well,
it's
not
more
your
for me.
not your personal family, but for sure
somebody will have something to say.
Oh yeah, no matter what, it's always like, oh, do you see that mullet?
I cannot show up to this wedding with a mullet. I will not be allowed in.
Yeah, like when I was at I did, me and my girlfriend, we did a video for a wedding video for my first cousin, and we did and I had it wasn't the full mullet as it is now, but it was still pretty decent.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you see Mullet Boy over there, you see fucking Tiger King over there, all over the place.
And you guys looked great.
Oh, we're killer. We're a killer looking couple. People are just mad.
They're jealous.
The
jealousy. Ridiculous.
They're ridiculous.
But no, I got mistaken for a boy a lot growing up, especially when I had short hair. Tell me it's recording.
I think it is. 1 second, guys.
Yeah, it is. It's red.
Yes, it is.
Yep. Okay.
We're still recording.
My ghostly pale skin saves the day again.
God bless. The only reason I'm darker is because you've been forced to be inside the last couple days, and I've just been getting sunburn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But
no, when I cut my hair short, even in the last few years, I think 2 years ago, I cut all my hair off again, and I was at work, and I at the time my machine was closest to the door, so I kind of became shipping and receiving by default.
Right.
So I went up,
especially with a small shop like that.
Yeah. But it was July. I was wearing a t-shirt, like,
yeah,
very clearly a woman. The guy comes in, "Hey man, how's it going?" "Oh, you're not a man." I'm like, yeah, dude, it's
Thank
just
you.
short hair. Thanks.
I got titties.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah. It's
I'll say it.
Yeah, it's they're still there. Last I checked,
Fuck.
anyway. Fuck.
I am not a fat dude. I got titties.
Oh man.
That's the finish.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a second. Oh shit, no. Like that,
Yeah.
and like for most trades minds, especially like considering Omega's like probably one of the biggest shop in the city, and you're the only girl on the floor. It's like as much as you want to be like, for fuck's sakes, like how can you not see that?
Yeah.
It's more just like it's a surprise.
It is. It's still a little shocking to people, and I see it too when they bring customers through the shop, whether it's it doesn't matter who it is. A lot of times I will see the raised eyebrows, and it's like, because my machine's kind of in a weird spot. It's in the spotting department instead of with the rest.
Are you in front of the old man's office yet, or not?
No,
yet?
not yet. They haven't sold my machine yet. I'm
Okay.
not neighboring with Pete yet, but I'm in a very high traffic area,
Right.
and a lot of times they will bring through customers and for tours or whatever. And I'll get a lot of raised eyebrows. I'll catch them, looking like, really? There's a girl running that machine. And even when I first started too, I've kind of become friends with them now, but one of the auto cribs is right by my machine. So a lot of the times when the guys would come to restock the cribs, they would be like I'd get a double take from them. It's
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And it's like, it doesn't bother me anymore. It kind of did at first, but I was a 16-year-old girl being expected to hold my own and almost not act like
I feel like the guidance counselor
guy
doesn't prepare you for something
no,
like that.
you can't prepare anybody for
No.
this. Like, you were being thrown to the wolves here.
You really do
And-
have to have and to put in an example, like I failed at all these things, but like I've been to university, I've been a plumber. I understand what it is to both be a person of education and a person of a trade. Being a trade is way better. You'll make a lot more money. I promise you. But other than
It
that,
comes at a price.
the social aspect is completely different.
Oh,
like,
exactly.
and,
The environment is wildly different.
like you go to university and everyone's stepping on eggshells. Like, you don't want to offend
Yeah.
anybody. You don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
When you go into the trade, we work in a fucking old age home, and this nurse with like and as respectfully as I can say this, with the fattest fucking ass walked by.
Oh my god, I remember this story.
Yeah, with the fattest ass, and obviously me coming out of high school. Obviously
16, 17
16,
years old.
17. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to look at that ass and appreciate it. Like,
Yeah.
you should do.
Yes,
like,
you do.
which, in my opinion, is what everyone should probably do. They should just
You can appreciate the
just
cake.
appreciate it quietly. Like, you don't need to
Yeah.
make a big deal out of it. If you want to like nudge your buddy, like I still like, as long as like it's still respectful, it's whatever. The other tradesman fucking whistled at her, and I was mind blown. I thought that shit was like, I was like, that was the first, like, I came from a Catholic high school. I came from like, and shit fucking happened, but no one like outwardly, in my opinion, outwardly disrespected women like that.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's a thing of the past. It definitely 100% isn't.
I could not believe it. They just whistled at this chick.
I was really surprised, and I'm really, really glad that I was I'm phrasing this really weirdly, but I was very pleasantly surprised at how well received I was at Omega. I was very, very worried. I was off for 2 months.
Right.
In between jobs, and I was very
Those were a fun
pleasantly,
2 months.
we had a good time. I went to a lot of races. I went to a lot of concerts. I shoved a lot of fun into those 2 months, man.
We went to Muskoka. It was a great time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I had been told, I heard so many horror stories of women in trades going to these big shops and just being run out of town, and I showed up. Everyone was super, super welcoming. I had 10 guys my first week come up to me, like, introduce themselves, shook my hand, like, we're glad to have you. If you need anything, let me know. And I still have guys coming up to me. Last night, one of the setup, like the setup guy come over, and he talked to me for probably a good 10-15 minutes while my program was running. He's like, I haven't got a whole lot going on tonight. If you need anything done, if you need to switch out an FCS plate, literally whatever. You do your programming. I will do your setups for you tonight.
Yeah.
Like anything you need, you let me know. You know,
which is fantastic.
It is.
It's such an improvement.
It is,
over...
honestly, yeah. Like, you know, I started out at a shop with 7 guys, one of which called me his adopted daughter quite a few times. And
which is like as I'd rather be called an adoptive daughter than like anything like you know when you're called that, like there's no sexualization involved.
not
There's
at
nothing
all.
like that.
Yeah.
Like it's respectful.
Yeah, and you know I've run into my fair share of
chads and
assholes
brads
in the trade.
yeah.
I am very familiar with how to report people.
Yeah.
You know, like, but I was blown away by how welcoming and accommodating and just how happy they were to have me,
which is great.
you know. I was really, really worried about, and I told the guy I told Adam when he was training me, I was like, you know, I was really, really worried about coming here. I didn't know what to expect. You know, you hear all these horror stories, some of which I've experienced.
Yeah.
You know, like there's gonna be bumps in the road. I was 16 years old, thrown into a trade full of fully grown men, expected to keep up with them. There's gonna be growing pains, but I was absolutely blown away and very honestly delighted at how I was received, and I have nothing bad to say about Omega. They've been absolutely wonderful to me, and I really, really am glad that I made the switch. I love my job again, because I was for lack of better terms, I was miserable by the time I quit my last shop. It was time for a change.
Time for you to go.
It was long overdue.
Yeah.
It was long overdue. And I love those guys. You know, it was time for a change.
I feel like with those small shops, management makes everything.
You get into a rut so bad, and
Yeah.
and yeah, management is a lot of it. They had pretty decent management, you know. It was just one or two things that just wouldn't change, and you know, that's fine. You know, I don't expect anybody to change to accommodate me.
No.
But
well, to a certain extent, I want people to change to be respectful.
Absolutely, you got to change. You got to keep progressing. But
you need to become, and that doesn't mean you can't make quote unquote offensive jokes or anything like that.
Yeah, that's not my point at all.
But they need to be funny. They need to be, and they, you know, there's a certain point.
Mm-hmm. There is,
and
there's limits to everything.
Absolutely.
And I'll call you out. I don't care if you say something. If you say something that's a little edgy or a little something that could be considered offensive, I'll call you out. You know, it happened the other day. I was at Al's and somebody said something stupid, and oh, did you hear me? Yeah, I heard you. It just wasn't funny.
Yeah, it's like,
you know, I am not shy about telling you, like, hey, you're being an asshole. Cut it out.
Well, and me and you go back and forth a lot.
Oh,
One,
for sure.
because we've reached a point of friendship that we understand, like, or are for a better term, I understand what your limit is.
Yeah.
I know what, like, and you also know me as a person. You know that I'm nothing that, like, hopefully nothing that I say comes out of a bad place.
Oh, no, for sure. And that goes for all you guys.
Yeah.
You know, what is there, like 6 or 7 of us now?
Yeah, like,
you know, in the core group. And no, I think I've got a pretty good handle on your boundaries, and you know, if
we know when to push it, and we also know when we've pushed it too far,
for
and
sure.
quickly to apologize or anything like that.
Exactly.
It's always out of respect.
Too far, it's always jokes. It's always, nobody ever means anything. Obviously, there's a lot of mutual respect. And it's really nice. I'm really, really glad that I met you guys, and you know, I love you guys a lot. It's a great group. I've never had this much fun in my life.
Well, that's great. And you guys out of the audience, you're gonna meet everyone part of the group, part of the main friend group. But the basic idea is, like, yeah, we razz on each other, yeah, we make fun of each other and whatever, but everything comes out of respect. We all respect each other's boundaries, and it's important and it's all about communication, right? Like,
yeah.
And that's to me personally, that's the main, like, hurdle that women have to take to go into a trade.
It's a lot. You gotta have thick skin. You gotta have a sense of humor, and it's. A lot of guys thought I grew up with brothers. I've got a lot of male cousins, and I I'm very
Which
close.
are great.
It's
They're great.
ridiculous. They are great.
They are great.
I have a ridiculously large extended family that I am way closer with than anyone else I've ever met.
Yeah.
And they're all wonderful. And that's
that's
where I got the banter from, I guess.
Yeah.
Like we grew up razzing each other and
Well, and that's like one of the things. Like, my mother grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
She's very much a tomboy.
Mm-hmm.
My sister played hockey, played soccer.
Yeah.
Played and so we always went back and forth, but at the same time,
all that stuff lends you a certain
degree of where you're gonna go with what you
Yeah.
say, like, and everything like that. And that's like, for me, what you're doing for me, Lynn, is personally, it's very impressive. It's the same thing as like, I mean, we said her name a lot, Emily or M, but I don't think we've actually clarified that she is my girlfriend. But she's also like, we're both somewhat in the film industry, and we both like went through film school, and she's very much one of the only women who are really like,
and she holds her own. She
and
kills
she
it.
holds her
She's
own.
very good at her job. She's very good at what she does.
And you guys are pioneers to me, and for me, I really respect it because, one, I mean, not personally, but I know that you have to go through so much fucking bullshit sometimes, and so much shit, and for you guys to keep pushing on, and you pave the path for other women, and more women in any industry is a better thing, no matter what. You get so
Absolutely.
much more perspective.
There's no reason that there should be any division between sex or gender or whatever you want to define it as in different industries, and as much as it was other things, the main reason that I stayed at my first shop is because I was so scared of having to start over and prove myself all over again at a new shop.
Yeah, which shouldn't be a thing.
No, it shouldn't, but at the same time, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
This is how the world works. Unfortunately, it is getting better.
But because
100%.
you're
I didn't
pushing
think
yourself, you're paving the way for other people,
I'm
other
busting
women
my
to
ass.
do the same, which is, to me, is super impressive, and we need it because now there's significantly less men entering the trade. We need women to enter the trade now.
Literally anybody at this point.
Yeah, we
Literally
need people.
anyone.
We need everybody,
Yeah, everybody's panicking now because nobody's around to build the cars or build the, whatever.
Yeah.
Because you did it to yourselves. You pushed all your kids to get 4-year degrees that they can't use.
and you shamed them.
Yeah.
It's more like a shame thing.
It is.
I really felt like it was a shame
100%
thing.
is. It's you're stupid. You're not stupid, but you're the only people who go into trades or who don't go to college just weren't smart enough to get in.
Yeah.
That's not true. You have to be smart
Especially
to be in the trade. I've met stupid tradesmen. They don't last very long.
No, those stupid tradesmen are, and like, I say this with the utmost respect because general laborers work their fucking asses off.
Absolutely.
Like fucking beasts. But you will find them being general laborers. You'll find like tradesmen have to be smart.
You have to be smart,
and
or you're gonna get hurt.
And to me, they're the perfect combination of both street smarts and book smarts because you
and
have
that's
to be.
exactly it. Yeah, you cannot just be book smart. Listen, I'm not gonna go on this rant right now.
Yeah, because we need to finish up
we
somewhat
do-
soon.
we
We're gonna
do
do
need
we're gonna do a part 2 because at this point we've got so much content.
I'll be back.
At this point, we might as well have our own show,
But-
like duo.
Engineers are the bane of my existence because all they've ever done is sit in a desk and look at a computer. How am I supposed to put a bolt in the middle of a block without drilling through any of the other faces? That doesn't exist. That's not a thing. You have book smart and practically stupid. It may sound silly. That's a very real thing.
It's a serious thing, and to me, the people I've always respected most, or the people I've always thought the most intelligent, are the 50-50.
Yeah.
The people who can do book smart, because I'm not. I can do like 25% book smart. If I think I'm 25% book smart to 75. If we're doing the stupid percentages, also probably because I'm drunk. But like the people who I really admire as the most intelligent people, like my dad, like my mom, are the people who are 50-50, who can do both.
Exactly. My dad, straight A student, principal's list all through school. And both of my uncles too. My uncle Doug, he was 12, I think, when he was in grade 9 because he skipped 2 grades.
Yeah.
Because he did all the work. He was done everything, so they moved him
Yeah.
up. They moved him up, like, but at the same time, these were the same guys who
don't want to sit still, that want to move, they
can't
want to
sit
do.
still. They got to do something. They built houses.
But that doesn't mean they're stupid people.
No,
at
they're
all.
not. They're some of the smartest people I've ever met.
And that's really the like.
But there has to be a balance.
Yeah.
There has to be a balance.
And hopefully, if there's anything that was actually learned from this podcast, because it was so
we were all over the place.
We were all over the place.
We were definitely a wild first episode.
We're definitely going to have to do a part 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Because I still think there's so much more to tell.
Oh, I've got endless stories.
I saw Lynn's notes. We were like, I don't even think we're even halfway through it.
I don't know if we touched on 3 of them, to be honest.
Yeah, we go back and forth so much that that's the point. But that's the perfect part of this podcast.
Cool with it, yeah.
And we are going to definitely 100% do a part 2, because this is I am going to attempt to do a weekly podcast, because that is what gets growth, and that's because there's that many good stories to tell. So we're definitely going to talk to Lynn again, 100% here at Sit and Drink. We've had a fantastic time, and if there's anything you learned from today, hope that it's that you need to be both street smart, book smart, and it doesn't matter what your gender, whatever bullshit, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Don't take yourself so seriously.
And I think Lynn here is a exemplarily, I probably pronounced that wrong because I'm an idiot.
Exemplary?
Yeah, that's the word. Example of that. And that you should understand, there's going to be life obstacles, and absolutely there's shitty men out there, especially if you're a woman entering a trade. However,
it's getting better. It's getting so much better. It's so much better than you could ever think it is. You take your expectations and honestly, usually you lower them.
Yeah,
bump them up a little bit. In my experience, anyway.
Bump them up, and people like Lynn are really pushing and really paving the road for the rest of you guys to be able to do whatever you want. And I'm excited for that future, because I think it's the best future we can ever be in.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Any last comments, Lynn? We'll do a part 2 probably soon, because you're great, and I think people are gonna, after we get through the friend group and whatever guests I can actually get.
Get through the rest of the boys, and even definitely have Madison on. She can tell you, she's got more stories than I do. Oh, if and when you have Madison, ask her about the superhero run.
Okay.
And even have Michael on, her brother.
Oh, I want to have everyone on. That's the best part.
Ask him about the superhero run, because so Madison is just a little bit of context. Madison is my second cousin. Her dad and my mom are first cousins, and her dad and my dad went to high school together. And they were best friends growing up. That's why her and I are so close. And they also went to college together in Ridgetown, and that's agricultural school. And if anybody, I don't know if you know this, but if anybody in watching knows this, ag school in Ridgetown is an absolute shit show 100% of the time. Yeah, they get the work done, they get their degrees, but it is.
But they're fucked up during class.
Ridiculous. I went to high school with a guy who went to ag school in Ridgetown, and they were going through a case of beer every 3 days.
That's fucking nuts.
Nuts. And that's now. Now. We're talking back in the 80s.
That's the main issue why I drink hard liquor, is because beer's so fucking expensive. And that's why we're gonna buy beer from Jake's, because it's only about 75 cents a beer.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know they're gonna make good beer, so I'm excited for that.
Go tour. Listen,
ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Sit and Drink. We have sat and drank. We are fucking turbo boosted, intoxicated.
Feeling pretty good.
Feeling pretty great. This Alberta Premium 63.5%. If you are in Canada, is around $80-$90. It is a fantastic buy. You should buy it. You should sip
smooth.
It is absolutely incredible. This is not sponsored, because we don't get enough views to be sponsored.
currently have 0 views.
However, if Alberta Premium wants to send me like $50, or no, you don't even have to send me $50. You want to send me some whiskey, I'm gonna be very happy about that.
Hell yeah.
But we appreciate everyone from watching. We hope everyone, and we're gonna have Lynn on for
I will
probably
be back
more
as
than an episode
many
2.
times as you like. I got endless stories, man.
We've got lots of stories, and our dynamic is fantastic, I think. So we're gonna do lots of more stuff. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. The pilot episode is Sit and Drink. You're incredible. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. Thank you for watching, and we are out.